Hey everyone, you might recognize this location from the spring. I put all these ribbons up here to warn of the hazard, and looks like the beaver trappers haven't been out here yet. So today, when we leave, we're gonna hang up some blue ribbons to warn of the water hazard. It's not crossing the road at the moment, but it has in years past. They actually had to raise it up a whole bunch. But by design, they always have a lower spot, lower than the culvert or the bridge, so the bridge isn't what gets washed out. It'll get washed out down there. That part of the road will sacrifice itself for the bridge. Now, we unclogged this back in the spring, lowered it down. It was not nearly this bad. In the spring, we were able to walk there. And in the spring, there was a noticeable second beaver dam right there. So if we drain this down, there should be another dam there that holds up the back part of it. This is very deep under this bridge. We're gonna see if there's anything we can do about it. It's not that much deeper than it was in the spring. In the spring, there was a couple inches of space under the I-beam, but now the I-beam is a couple inches under the water. So we'll get under there, see if there's anything we can do about it. I see a bunch of fish, just like in the spring, that are kind of angry because they can't get upstream now into this giant pond. And today I realized something else. The water's coming into the road right there on the edge. If I zoom in, it's very close from starting to cross. Then it'll start eroding. This is actually backing all the way up to a different road. It's a whole nother area it's affecting because this road goes around the corner and wraps around there. It's actually within a foot from crossing the road in a whole different spot. All right, so here's what we got going on underneath the bridge. The reflections up on those beams are really pretty. So the good news is it's a very thin dam, not very thick, not much structure. It's up here. That'll be easy to tear apart the base of it and get a good initial blast of water flowing. The water's being diverted over here. Looks like it's been eroding a little bit. All right, let's gear up. All right, everyone, we got a good angle over here for camera number 2, which should show the water dropping. All right, camera number 2 is going. All right, now gotta walk back over there. So let's see what we can do. Now here's the good and the bad news about this. Last time, it drained very quickly. And this time, I don't even see that other beaver dam dividing the two ponds. I don't even know if it's there. If it's not there, we might not be able to do too much. And these boots were very cold going on because they were previously flooded, but I've already started overheating by moving around, so now it'll act like a wetsuit and there's seeds stuck to it. Okay, here we go. Gonna have to do a little switcheroo. Boom. Now I gotta find a shim because that angle is awful. Gotta put a shim under the magnet. And there's even a spider friend up here. That's not a big enough shim. Let's try a thicker stick. Good, good. Now let's get on in there. Right in the face. Yeah, this dam doesn't have much structure at all. But I will soon regret saying that, I'm sure. Trying to get some of it down before I start letting the water help. I'm going to be muddy after this one. I'm already getting mud on my face. It's getting wetter inside it. The leakage of the dam. It's getting stinkier too the deeper in there. Let's go in the other way. Right in the face. This mud smells so bad. All right, I'm gonna leave you guys here. I'm gonna see if I can do anything about that from the outside. I figured out why it's not going as fast as I thought. That beam in the back right there that I'm digging against is not the same beam as the outer. There's another one. So you can't even get to the dam, it's so skinny from the other side. You just be down into 6-foot water. So I got no idea what's behind that beam, how far up inside this it might go. rinsing all the mud off myself. I think the beavers have removed the bigger dam. Let's go up there and see. We'll come back to this location in about an hour. If nothing has happened, we're gonna leave it. The downstream area has sure gone up. Here's what it looked like before. And here's what it looks like now. Back underneath, here's what it looked like before. And here's what it looks like now. All right, we got the dam down about halfway. Something killed a grouse bird here and ate it. That's what all those feathers are. Now, like I was saying, when we came out here in the spring, I went for a walk to the end of this beaver pond. There was another dam, and they were holding up like a massive lake. If we gotta wait for that lake to drain, this isn't gonna happen today. Hopefully that dam right there still holds up, and just this area is gonna lower down. You can tell there's almost a whirlpool forming. The suction's so powerful. If I jumped in here, it would suck you right through. It's the next beam, like right here where the opening I made is. So, are we gonna experience any drop? I'm not sure. Our other camera blends in over there pretty well. Maybe we'll just leave it there recording for an hour. See if anything happens. This will be much safer once the water gets below that beam. Can't really notice anything right now with the water level. All right. We'll come back in about an hour. In the meantime, I'm gonna hang up some blue ribbons to let the trapper know there's an issue. All right, everyone, I just turned around and we're gonna leave the other camera there since there's not many people out here. We're not gonna be gone for long. I just wanna show you where this lake wraps around. So I added blue ribbons. I didn't add it to the trees next to the pipe because the beavers have been cutting them down to clog this up again, and they will do that probably tonight. Cut down more trees to block this back up again. But you saw there wasn't much water coming through. This will benefit the road regardless if they build back, because it will lower the water down. With such little water entering the pond, it'll take weeks for them to get it back up, and there's no rain in the forecast. So that's good. So I'm gonna call this one in for the beaver trapper, try to get them out here faster. And in case the beaver trapper doesn't show up, maybe we shouldn't leave the dam completely gone. Then the beaver can build their lodge easily down to the water level. All right, just took a right. Now the road continues. We're at higher elevation right now, but this right here is the same body of water. It's all connected right here. Now this water has always been here, even when it wasn't affecting that road, because the beavers' old lodge was up in the big pond, and they had a different dam. They're going across the valley instead of just the bridge. I don't know why they'd clog up the bridge for that little measly extra amount of water and get relocated when they had this massive extensive lake right here. It's huge. We're still running along it right now. And the water here is like less than a foot from entering the edge of the road. So they'll get relocated for this too. And there's another bridge right here. And the beaver's pond is so extreme that it's even backing up under this bridge. There's not a beaver dam under that bridge at the moment. There has been in the past, not right now, but that water is all the way up here sitting still because of that dam under that other bridge that I just worked on. To the left, this is all filled with water. is a very extensive beaver lake that they've made. Big body of water. Actually, let me pull over. We might be able to actually see that other bridge from here. Let's get out for a moment. This is all the same body of water, going all the way down there to that little bridge, through the bridge, continuing, going all the way down here. We're on a place that's like 5 feet elevation from the water. Down there, down around here, it's only about a foot or so before it would get in the road. Now here's a trail, maybe fishermen, maybe beavers. Let's see. Something's been walking over this log, stepping on it. Got this huge grassland. Look how big this beaver pond is. This is where the old lodge used to be years ago, but I don't know why they made the decision to move it near the road. Yes, we can see all the way through, just like I said. See this here? See where all that grass is going across the valley, like right around right here? That is the old beaver dam, and I'm hoping it comes out of the water. You see way over there, you can actually see the road that we were just on unclogging. I believe that's the bridge, but it's got some trees in the way. So from here, can we see any difference in the water levels? I'm gonna say maybe. You can kind of see in the center of the screen, top and bottom, the water levels are a little different, aren't they? Let's hope they stay different. Let's hope this dam is still under the water and ready to take this lake up here so that we can drain it down and have that road down there not wash out during the winter, cause frost heaving, other issues involved in that. But yeah, this is pretty big. They made this a lot deeper since the spring. Water grass, obviously this is always a swamp, but it's a bit deeper than it should be here. Remember in the spring I walked out here. This is actually a pretty big hill. That gave me a good view of the place. So everything here is slightly dropping at the moment. It looks like maybe an inch or two. It's a pretty big area. It's going to take a while to notice any real difference. Very big area. But hopefully this drops a little bit and gets held up by the old dam going through the valley. Hopefully it's not all under that bridge. Okay, let's drive back. Oh, door's open. Let's go see if we've noticed any difference in like 20 minutes now. Maybe we can stop for lunch, let it sit a little bit. Alright, back. I'm noticing at least a few inches now on the trees. I can see current going in our gap now that the wind has stopped a bit. I think I'm going to grab the other camera and we'll return in a little bit. Draining too slow to be able to film this. We'll come back in a few hours. We got to do other checks in the area. Alright, we're going to leave a trail camera here on this tree looking out. I programmed it so every 10 minutes it's going to make a 5-second video clip which we can all splice together and speed it up, and that's how we'll get a good time lapse. If you're using a camera like that, you want to have a couple second video like that rather than a picture every 10 minutes because it just goes way smoother when you time lapse everything. Pretty well camouflaged. Oh, I hear a truck coming, so I better take attention off the camera. All right, we'll come back here, I don't know, give it 4 hours or something. We'll see how it's doing. Sometimes when I'm out here on these roads, my record so far is going through 6 rolls of tape in one day. That's my record. And that was not this spring, but the previous spring. So many roads washed out, impassable. The reason I went through so many, because you got to put strings across the whole road. Put a bunch of ribbons hanging from that string so people don't drive into the ditch. Now this right here is a bridge that has been missing for about 4 years and haven't drove out to it in a couple of years. Thought it'd be interesting to come down here now because this bridge will be back in the next month or so. So if this bridge is back in the next month or so, what I'm curious to see is if I come back out here and say December, will this beaver dam be here? I think not. I think they'll remove it, but I could be wrong. That's a very new beaver dam. Very fresh material. Big Beaver Lake. You can tell it's recently a little elevated into the bushes and stuff. You notice the tree line. All the little trees by the water have turned brown because they're gonna die from the extra water. Now look at this rotten thing here. Amazing. Very rotten. Now, I just took a walk down here and I do actually believe that I could probably drive this. I don't see a single issue right here as far as driving down, but my lack of confidence is over here. It's pretty steep going back up. I'm sure people with Jeeps do it, but with a little bit of a longer vehicle, I don't know about it. I feel like right here is a spot that I'll likely bottom out with these rocks. With the extra length of the vehicle, I'll probably hit that. Right there's a pretty muddy option, and I don't think I'd make that corner with the big rock to the left. And right here is a pretty steep one coming up, and look at that beautiful fire pit. Looks like, is that even a canoe right there? Yeah, they're gonna put that bridge back, so that'll be good. But this will no longer be a dead-end campsite. Look at that, they keep making the fire pit taller rather than digging it out. It looks like the ash is like halfway up in there. They left a canoe here. The canoes that usually are out here chained to trees, you find them at every lake, and that's to make it easier in case there's an emergency. The park rangers can just use them very quickly. All right, going back. This here is one really beautiful rock. Look at that. That's a very pretty rock. It's got ferns growing all over it and even a cedar tree up on the top. This is a first for me, seeing a bridge that is repaired with plywood, and you can see somebody punched through the plywood too. It's broken. So let's go over that slowly. Now these bridges, the way they're built, I'm not worried about falling through them. All that would happen is a tire would punch through it, because you got a very thin deck, which is made to be constantly replaced. The equipment driving over it usually has tire chains. Underneath that's very thick beams like you have on a train bridge, basically railroad ties. Underneath that you got heavy metal I-beams, so you're definitely not going to fall through a bridge like that. You might punch through the deck though. We got another really rough pipe here. If they had used a metal one, it would be dented a bit, but it wouldn't be destroyed and completely unusable. Let's mark it a little bit. So it turns out the logging company did mark it, but after a summer of sitting in the sun, these ribbons we put up are made out of PVC, and if it sits in the sun, it becomes so brittle. I tried to reuse their piece. It was too brittle to even tie a knot. I put a piece up there nice and high so it can be noticed by road crews that there's a water issue here. I always try to reuse pieces if they're on the ground, because the blue color, for some reason, they don't sell it in any stores around here, and it's the most expensive color, and I have to order it on the internet. All right, we got another one here we're gonna go ahead and mark. This culvert doesn't look like it's even functional anymore because the water's backed up in the ditch, which also has to be dug out. Now, what do you think the logging company didn't just extend the ditch into here, maybe to protect the wetland from all the runoff of the road. That's what I'm thinking. We're also gonna go ahead and put ribbons up on that bridge, blue ribbons, because it's clear the beavers are being an issue. It's been dry out recently, but if it wasn't, you can tell water's been crossing here for a while. That's why it's such a mess. So we're gonna put ribbons up here and down there. All right, we got the ribbons up. Wow, what a nightmare. They have a beaver dam, and they also have a much older beaver dam, which is like half as thick as the bridge. That's gonna be a nightmare. It's probably gonna be easier for them to remove the deck of the bridge to get that one out of there. Now, I don't know if this is a secondary pond or not. I'm guessing it's secondary because I don't see a beaver lodge anywhere. All right, we put up 2 sets of ribbons. Getting some preventative measures done before winter hits. Keeping notes of mile markers and road names so we can report these, and hopefully the logging company can get these things out of here. This also floods because of the beavers. You can tell water here also goes across. And they build it like that, again, by design. They want it to flood away from the bridge. That's why they put the bridges up higher, so it doesn't wreck the bridge if the beavers come along or a freak flood comes along. Oh, it looks like we got something else going on up here. Probably beavers again. Looks like we got another flood in front of this bridge with a bunch of water going across. Oh my gosh, these beavers are being a nightmare right before winter. Yeah, this is a bad one. Look at this. We got to get out and put up some ribbons. It's so much fun driving through water like that. All right. Let's pull over for a moment and get back out. They got a lot of things to fix because winter's going to be coming and they're going to be using these roads. All right, we got a metal one here. See? Just slightly dented, but still operable. That's what happens when you use metal over plastic. It can take a beating from the heavy trucks without crushing itself into microplastic. So the beavers here have the bridge clogged up, and the dam underneath the bridge is not even up to capacity, meaning sometimes there's a big gush of water coming through here, even worse. Also, part of their dam got destroyed. They built a dam right here on this side of the road, meaning this is part of their pond. They made the road into part of their pond. Yep. All right, we also got over here, the beavers built a little pond here. They cut down that tree, fell over into the road. I put up a couple little ribbons here. So we got these sticks here, which are less than a month old, based on the color of it when they ate the bark off. Since that's their food, they eat the bark before they use the tree branches in their dam. So that being said, they're probably still active here. I'm gonna assume yes, because see, there's very fresh pieces floating around in there that they've been eating. The pond is just a bit below capacity because it hasn't rained the entire month of October. So here's the dam, a little below capacity, and they got all their fresh sticks right there that they cram over here. So when it starts topping again, they'll have the supplies to just stuff it in there. See, basically these bridges are kind of built like a little train bridge. Got a little bit of leakage coming out. So they have the water spilling. I'm surprised they're not actively damming it right now. They could be recently relocated. There's the lodge. It's well camouflaged. See it right there? We got this big bump right in there. That's the lodge. They could be relocated, but they're causing issues. They're causing a flood. This is going to lead to frost heaving in the winter, an icy mess. Every truck that drives through that in the winter is going to drag the water through here like I did, freezing instantly, making a skating rink of the road. Here's a piece of heavy equipment, and this is about where they left off. they'll be slowly progressing their way further down this road to where all these beaver issues are. So they're logging right now. In this area, we could be seeing some heavy trucking. Here's a look out the side window. A bunch of piles of logs down there ready for the trucks. No hunting, active logging, no camping in the area, it also says. The loggers don't care if you camp on their roads, as long as they're not around, as long as you don't start a forest fire. So now the road is very maintained, and they'll slowly make their way further down there over the winter. So they're only about a mile away from the latest issue that I marked. So they'll probably be on that pretty quickly once they're done with this area. They log the swamps in the winter when it's all frozen. Oh yeah, look at this. Look at all this stuff they have piled up to be trucked out of here. Let's see what we got. The first pile is balsam fir. On the right, that's maple and birch. That's a mix that we just drove by. So we have birch, let's see, white and yellow birch. They always put it in different piles because different piles are used for different things. So it looks like they're mixing the birch and the maples together. Most of this haul of wood is not evergreen. The majority of it is not. But it's probably still going to be pulpwood going off to the paper mill. What's this water we're coming up on the active section of road? They already got this culvert marked. That's going to be replaced. This looks like another culvert, but it's in good shape. Look at this mess up here. I actually think we've done this one before. We've unclogged this one before. The road's getting so bad from the heavy trucks. Looks like the beavers also tried building a dam in the road in the middle of the night here. They cut a slit to drain the puddle. Now let's take a look at this culvert. This might be one that we could actually do something about. Yeah, this will be a fairly easy one. We'll add this into a separate video because this video's about to become too long. Let's pull over far enough that a log truck could pass us, plowing over some bushes. So this is one we unclogged about 2 years ago during routine checks in the spring, all of last year. No beavers, but it looks like they found the place again. So how plugged is it? Will this pipe be operable? Why is it like a little horseshoe on such a small pipe? That's unusual for the beavers, but it's mostly mud and grass. So once we get a flow, we can just shuffle it around and most of it should be able to get sucked through. We got everything put away. Gonna hang up some blue ribbons. All right, everyone. It's been about 2 hours and we're back on scene. Let's pull over right here where I have a good amount of room in case a log truck needs to pass. Okay, pull up a little more. Good opening so I can get out myself. Now let's see how everything looks after 2 hours. It should be completely drawn down by now. All right, everyone, so in this area, the log trucks aren't active yet. They won't be on the roads until 10 p.m. is when the loggers are on shift for this area this time of year. So we don't really have to worry about them at the moment, but I still pulled over anyways, and the effect is already dramatic. Look at this. Water's way down. Wow. All right, we got another one to show you here. The road's kind of messed up here, and that's the joint in a pipe. This right here is the coupling of the pipe that was wrapping around it, and you know what's amazing to me? I have videos of this exact hole opening up 4 years ago. What they do is just jam a few rocks in there. Just cover it up with some dirt. Good as new. Do it again the next month. Again the next month. Till it freezes over in the winter, it's okay. And in the spring, it opens right back up again. You would think by then they'd dig into it and at least put a new coupling around it. But nope. And anything blocking it? Nope, but it's very crumpled from the excavator damage, so it can never run at its potential. Hopefully it's marked freshly. That's not done by me, but it's fresh. Hopefully that means they're gonna finally replace this. Just looking at the stream bed, especially when it crumpled, it can't handle the water, and it's clearly going across the top sometimes. All right, everyone, we made it back in the evening, and I haven't even been down here yet. I can tell the water level barely dropped, which is already telling me that we're dropping down the entire thing, not just this area like we did in the spring. I think that dam in the middle is deteriorated so badly because it's not being maintained. They don't need it, so that's why they're not maintaining it. So we'll grab the time-lapse camera, but I can tell you we didn't get much because it hasn't gone down much. The real tell will be looking at this beam. I don't notice that much, so things like this nice tree will die. The whole edge is gonna die off. These big trees in the background are all gonna die from the raised water levels. You see it's still blasting almost as much as it was 4 hours ago, and that's because we're dropping such a big area. This area is a bit more flooded just because downstream here is backing up a bit. I'm sure there's more beaver dams down there. Here's what the downstream area looks like now, and here's what it looked like before we left earlier. And here's what it looks like now. Hear a whole bunch of commotion and noise down there. I think it's Canada geese. So look down for the first time. Yep, we didn't drop that much for 4 hours. Some debris got stuck up here as it's dropping. So here's what it looked like before. And here's what it looks like now. You can see the rusty mark on the side of the beam. It was about 3 inches in the water. Now it's about 3 or 4 out. So we lost only about 8 inches of water throughout the entire day. You look around the edge, you can see that water mark. We'll go ahead and grab that time-lapse camera. We'll let it go until it gets dark. I'm just gonna sit in my truck and do some editing from earlier. So yeah, let's take a look. If we zoom in down there, the dam still exists, as I mentioned in the spring video. You could see it really good. I do believe as we drop more and more, it will start holding water. That lake part up there is gonna probably go down to normal. Then this area should completely drain from what we've done. But considering it only went down a little bit, it's not one of those situations where we were able to return and completely bring it down because the water level just didn't drop enough. This would probably take another day or two at this rate to even get down there. So this one I'm gonna have to report to the local rangers and stuff to hopefully get these beavers out of here by winter time, because they're gonna negatively affect this road. When it freezes in the winter, it's gonna hit this water table that's high in there. It's gonna cause frost heaving and other issues as winter goes on if these beavers aren't moved out of here. And I can tell by the sticks and stuff, it's pretty fresh. The beavers can do nothing about it draining down until it drains down. The water pressure is too much for that hole. They'll get sucked in if they go anywhere near it. So this will eventually get to drop down, and it's been a warmer year. They'll have it clogged back up and filled back up by the time this would ever freeze. So preventative maintenance at the moment, but that being said, they got to do something about it. I do think that dam will hold up something. It's not going to hold up nothing. It still exists. It was just completely hidden underneath the 8 inches of water. This area will drop down about 2 or 3 feet from what we just did. Let's have a look at it again before it gets completely dark. And then I'll come back out here with flashlights. Beavers are nocturnal, so we might see them inspecting everything. The water's running really clean now, but yeah, that'll drop it down another 2 feet. Unfortunately, we can't do anything at the moment. Here's what it looked like before, with no gap. And look at that, the water went down. Here's what it looks like after. Pretty good. And I'll include the time lapse that we get from that camera once we go over to it. So I'm pulled over right here. I have a good spot. So I have front row seat. So if we see any beavers while I'm sitting in here editing this stuff together, I'll be sure to show you. I'll be here for at least another 2 hours doing that. All right, I brought that camera in. It actually does show a good amount of the water dropping at the bridge. I hear a bunch of coyotes in the woods. I'll try to film them if they get closer, because you can't really hear it on the camera, I don't think. The coyotes are howling. They do it every night this time of year. They can be a bit intimidating when they're in a pack, but highly unlikely to ever attack you or anything. Still haven't noticed any sign of the beavers. Maybe these were relocated too. Like the other area that we drained today, it looked active, but they were clearly recently relocated since we even went up to the lodge in the empty pond. No footprints leaving it hours later. They weren't investigating the low water. No one came out angry. This will drain back a bit more. Maybe they're already relocated and that'll be good for this location. Still gonna hang out here a bit and we'll be able to confirm if the beavers are actually gone. Ooh, a bird. I notice a lot of birds always come and hang out when you drain something like this because it's easy pickings of little creatures on the edges. Good food source. It attracts lots of birds. So we'll come back out here and I'm still watching. If we don't see anything here, no beavers investigating why the water's dropping, then it's very probable they're not here. All right, I just changed out of those wet waders. These pants are still damp, but they're the summer camouflage. That should air dry very quickly. Just walking around. Gonna have some supper and we have a good beaver stakeout to see if anyone actually shows up over the next hour or two. If they don't, then the probability of the beavers being gone is high. I honestly, just by looking there already, think they're gone. But in the meantime, while I gotta wait around for a bit, I'm gonna go for a little walk before it gets dark, get some good exercise, enjoy the warm weather while it's still around. Next week, there's a couple days we won't even hit the freezing mark for the high. Maybe we'll walk down here. We got another bridge. I was just walking down here and it is getting very pretty out. No sign of the beavers yet. At this point, I don't think there will be any. I think they're gone. But look at the sky. Looks so pretty. It's even more red in person. Beautiful out. Alright, still gonna wait around a bit. Alright everyone, I had dinner in here and the window fogged up quite a bunch just from breathing in here. I've been in here for about nearly 3 hours editing and catching up on stuff. So I can put some wind up there on the windshield and put the high beams on maybe. And we'll be able to see down there when that clears up. All right, now we got a perfectly clear view down there of what's going on. Let's put more lights on. Got a clear line of sight. I'd see splashes. No, I don't think the beavers are here. But we're gonna wait another hour or so. All right, everyone. The window didn't fog up this time. I don't know why. Maybe the temperature's just different. But I've been in here now for another 2 hours, occasionally taking a look out there, not leaving the light on too long because that off-road light will drain the truck's battery. But we have now been on this stakeout. It got dark 3 hours ago. All right, we're about to leave. I caught up on all my stuff. So we're gonna go out there for a little bit with a bright flashlight and have ourselves a look. Wow. Car's beeping. Even though I got my keys, it's telling me that I have the accessories on, which will kill the battery if I leave it like that. So let's turn on our big flashlight that I'm carrying right here. Wow, this flashlight is like 3 times brighter than my off-road light. This is the world's brightest flashlight, 200,000 lumens, and it will get so hot that you can't put it down on just anything. It'll burn things. Wow, it got chilly out in the past couple hours. We're supposed to get down around 40 tonight. Ooh, it's steaming the pond. 40 degrees is about 5 degrees Celsius. There's a little bit of steam coming off the water. Swamps in general do create a little bit of heat, and it's been warm this week. The steam coming off it kind of stinks. Oh wow, look at all the fish. There's a ton of fish in there. Some of them are pretty big. Oh, one of them splashed. Looking around, we don't see anything, and I've been continuously doing little checks. We're not seeing beavers anywhere. And this is still flowing a good amount. It's just starting to calm down now. So they'll have to get the excavator out here soon, but sticking around like this for quite a few hours is doing my due diligence to make sure that there aren't any beavers here. Now, the trapper doesn't need to necessarily come here, the excavator does, to get this whole dam out of here before winter. So this water's more clear than I thought. I can see the bottom, and I can see it's probably 5 feet deep there. Who knows how deep it is in the center, probably not much more. But it's actually got a pretty rocky bottom. The pond didn't really have the chance to silt up a whole lot. It's only been here for less than a year. Look, there's a bunch of fish. It's getting chilly. I got really lucky the past week or so. It's been feeling like summer in northern Maine, and that's very weird for the end of October. But it happened in 2020. The past couple of years, though, we had normal stuff. So now I'm gonna zoom you guys out. There's the Beaver Lodge. I don't see anything. No ripples. If beavers were here, they'd be coming over to investigate. It's getting chilly. Just to think, last night I was kind of sweating all night in the car. Ooh. All right. Water levels did drop a bit. You can see the line of debris. I'd say we dropped it down probably maybe 14 inches. We've been on site here for about 7 hours or so. A couple inches an hour. Starting to shiver. Let's get back in the truck and we're gonna get out of here now. All right, let's get out of here. Oh, did I kill the truck's battery with the off-road lights? Let's shut the off-road light off. Let's try that again. Damn it, I killed the truck's battery. Oh my gosh. At least I know the truck's limit now. Let's not use any more of the lights. And I was also charging phones and stuff in here for hours. Oops. I have a jump starter though. We're gonna open up the hood and do that. All right, let's pop the hood. All right, let's get back in here. Red positive, black negative. Here we go. All right, we started up. Now we can turn the off-road lights and stuff back on. Let's go take the jump starter off. All right, we're good now. See, that's why it's always good to be prepared. You need more than jumper cables because we're on a road. I guarantee you, no one's gonna probably use this all night. And today, I was here 4 hours. In 4 hours, only one person drove by. Now that it's nighttime, I don't think anyone's going to probably come out here. It's not tourist season. No one's really out here except the loggers, and they're not working at the moment. And so the logging guys work regular 9 to 5 shifts typically. They can have shifts around the clock. The tractor trailers are supposed to be on these roads around 10 o'clock, but I don't know if they're going to be at this point. We're not on the same part of the road as where I was showing them actually working, where they were told me they're going to be coming out at 10 o'clock with the big rigs. We're not on that road, so I don't think anyone's going to be coming here. So it's good to have a battery-operated jump starter. I haven't used that thing in a long time, and thankfully it still had 75% of its juice. So when I get home, I'll charge that thing back up. So I learned you can't sit here for a bit. And it's not like I had the off-road light on for 4 hours. I just had it on here and there. So now I know here and there, which adds up to maybe a half an hour or something, is too much. That's why I always idle the truck if I'm working at night and I need a whole bunch of lights running. That's why construction vehicles idle all the time. People think it's for no reason, but that's the reason right there. But we're good. Those same type of jump starters have saved me multiple times at my house. I remember one time I was embarrassed with my old car. I had to call a tow truck guy just to jump it because I didn't have trickle chargers. I didn't have another vehicle I could jump it off or anything at that time. Now I have so many trickle chargers, I'm tripping over them because I have a lot of things now with batteries, and I've had to jump my other car twice with those things. Worked out good because the battery was going out. And this is the first time out in the middle of the wilderness I had to jump something. And there's been a couple of instances I had to change a tire out in the middle of the wilderness. And when you have to walk around out here at night or work on anything at night when you're alone, it is creepy. It really is creepy because you're not alone. You're never alone out here. There's moose that weigh over 1,000 pounds in the woods. There's bears that haven't gone into hibernation yet. Coyotes. There's all kinds of creatures out here keeping you company. You're never alone. And I'm driving further down this road because I just want to see, I want to do it before and after up here. I'm going to walk in the woods on that same exact trail that I just passed. I'm just going to turn around, and then I'm probably going to do a moose watching vlog video I'll put on my other channel. Because you usually see them out here when the weather is decent. I think we'll see at least one moose tonight. And we'll leave the truck idling. If you kill a battery, you always want to drive around for at least a half an hour or so. Idling doesn't count. You need to be driving fast to charge up the battery. So if I shut the truck off now, likely it won't start again. So we'll leave it running. My off-road lights aren't what they were, and I always carry wet wipes in here because you can't always have a shower in the wilderness. It's too cold this time of year, the waterways anyways. It was nice and warm this week, but the water is too cold. I could only wash my face and brush my teeth at the streams. So I've been using wet wipes. I gotta use wet wipes on the headlights and the off-road light. It's filthy. You'll see a huge difference once I clean it. Watch this. Oh yeah, that made a difference. I could even see a difference as I was doing it. Now wet wipes and stuff, even if it says flushable, you don't want to leave them out in the wilderness. They will last quite a while. That's why you don't put them down a septic tank either, even if it says you can. You don't want to do that. Only thing you should be leaving out in the woods is toilet paper. That kind of stuff won't hurt anything. All right, leave the truck running. This is one of the reasons why I had the truck, when I bought it, rewired the ignition system, because am I even in the right spot? I don't even think I am in the right spot. I don't think I'm on the right part of the road. Is this where I went in earlier? Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Things just look different at night. Yep, here's where I was earlier. Yeah, big reduction. Before the water was right here. Wow, big difference. Wouldn't be surprised if we saw moose out here in the swamp. All right, here's what it looked like before. And here's what it looks like now. Pretty big difference out here in the swamp. All right, everyone, we're heading out. I hope today's video was interesting. Thanks for watching, and have a great night.